Bulation Nation. It's a celebration. This one goes out to being jacked enough that when someone sees you for the first time, you immediately become their role model. So, with that today, cover a couple things. So what I got for you here is one of the immediate effects of being jacked is kids look up to you because you look exactly like or close to their favorite hero. And just that interaction with them, because they have that idea in their mind, is enough to shift their life into the positive. And it also helps them experience that what they may assume is only fiction can actually be achieved through effort and experience. It is the responsibility of the strong to look after the weak. But through gaining these buffs, it actually prepares you for that specific responsibility and that lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with being weak, but it's very shameful to choose to stay weak. Now, my anecdotal thing for yesterday, or for that, it was yesterday. We went to a family gathering with for my girlfriend's coworkers. They were doing like a family day. They got like a big old water slide, invited all the families from the company to come over and hang out. And I was the only jacked guardian slash father figure there. So obviously, when I wanted to hop on the slide and go down with the girls, the conversation immediately shifts. Everyone like, I've been thinking about trying to get back in the gym and doing this and whatever. And it's just funny how even just the appearance of someone being observably more fit or just bigger than everybody else creates the conversation of like, yeah, I'm working on doing that too, or I want to get there myself, or, I'm overcoming an injury. Like, for some reason, just me being there shines a light on people's emotions and insecurities on why they aren't that way. Like, oh man, I was in the gym a lot when I was younger, and then I got this injury in college, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, we were just talking about revenue over the past year. Why'd you say that? And then everybody looks over like, oh, that's why. Yeah, and then, the whole conversation pivots into everybody's excuse on why they aren't huge now, just because you showed up there. So, going into the byproduct of being there, obviously there's a bunch of kids there, it's families. They're all just kind of look at me like, what the fuck is that, Superman? Like, who the fuck is that? That guy's huge. And with that, there was a little girl there. I thought she only spoke Spanish, and then as I interacted with her a little bit, I was like, oh, she's got something like neurological. She's high functioning, and she trusted me. She trusted my girlfriend and I. First, my girlfriend went down the slide with her because she was kind of stuck up there by herself, and then I was going over and over with our girls, and they were just fine blitzing it by themselves. So she actually would end up waiting for me, this little girl, till I got up there, and I would like kind of like set up, and she like grabbed my hand, and then just plop herself right in front of me, and I'd make sure to hold her because of how dense I am. I would blitz it through the slide and had to like make sure I wouldn't fly off with her. So I'd have to do like a little drift turn at the bottom and like make sure she was okay. And that was actually an instance where we were going pretty fast, and I had turned and like kind of ditched her to be on the slide, and I flew out. And this guy was like, wow. And I was like, well, he's like, dude, he was able to leave her on the slide while he flew off. He's like, that's crazy. So not only does being jacked immediately like place this sense of like responsibility, and this person can take care of themselves and others, but then people observe that. And once they saw that I was able to like go down the slide and make sure the kids were safe, or if someone went with me, and the speed that I'd pick up, I would make sure that they wouldn't, ram into the wall like I would, that they'd be fine. And the idea of visiting like a former thing that happened, people like bringing up their excuses on why they're in jack now. It's okay to have an injury, be sedentary for a little bit. I went through it sometime, a burnout. But ultimately, I had to come to the conclusion that, do I want to stay being sedentary and let the past me overshadow myself and me just talk about that guy, or be better, or catch right back up? Because one of the first times I interacted with that idea of like, well, I used to be him, but, then I broke my arm, and now I don't do anything, and I'm a lazy sack of shit, was actually in the Marine Corps. I was in the platoon getting ready to head back home and be separated, and there'd be guys that were like older corporals, lance corporals, that were in between. Either they were going to evaluate them and be like, all right, you're either like too fucked up to stay, or you're just fucked up enough that you need some time, and rejoin the program. And they would show pictures of themselves shirtless from like 5 years ago, or like when they were first getting in, and they're like, yeah, look how jacked I was. And I would just say like, okay, but you aren't now. I don't care what you have to say. If you are not knowledgeable enough or persevering enough to go back to, maintain, or beat the gains of your past after an injury, shut up. Like what you actually have to say is invalid, because that means all of the preparation and ability that you gave your body, when there was a moment where it was too much and it broke down on you, or you injured a muscle while exercising or something, you did not gain enough to overcome that. You actually failed. You hit a wall, because the true test for somebody who's like an advanced or intermediate person in the gym is when you're pushing yourself and then you're like, man, that kind of hurt. My hips feels weird now. Like, all right, what do you do from then on out? Like, how do you recover from that? Strengthen yourself, prepare your body for those imbalances, and have it not happen again. That's where the real like gym rat ability comes out. Not just getting strong or catching the iron bug and being consistent and then getting big. Anybody can do that, but not anybody can hit a wall on like specific movements or an injury and then overcome that. And that kind of defines a lot of people. Like I said, some of the stories of the guys before, when they saw me, were like, oh, well, when I would get back into it, but on my knee or this or that. And some of them are pretty valid, but ultimately all it is you just got to put a little extra work. You got to spend some more time doing accessory stuff to make sure that you'll be strong in your compounds or in your big main lifts. And if anyone would have asked me if for any kind of advice I was dealing with that and really wanted to get back in the gym, I would have given them all the tools they needed, intellectually, for them to be able to do stuff at home, some stretches or exercising in the gym that would help them feel ready and prepared to get under a bench again or get under a squat rack or do something. Because that's my responsibility. My responsibility is that when someone wants knowledge or wants to develop more skills in their life, for me to pour that out to them. But I also need to vet them to see if they're bullshit or not, Because some people will just do it and be like, hey, look, I talked to the really the observably most jacked person here, and then my social credit went up, and now everybody's going to want to talk to me because they saw me talking to this guy who we have all collectively, without saying a word, deemed him the most popular person here, right? But being someone who can observe that very intricate dynamic, I don't grab the reins and do whatever I want. I realize that I'm still there to hang out with some families and do what I want and hang out, but I also have a responsibility to show out, which I like to do. Because I remember myself, there would be a lot of times where I'd be hanging out with, the family, and we'd have family gatherings like my own and extended family, and like the younger kids that would come by, like, would look at me like, dude, you're huge, you're strong, whatever. And then later down in the future, a couple years, I see them like trying to get big or try to get strong or doing pull-ups, or they would tell me that they're like, they're running more and doing push-ups. And I congratulate them because it starts young, right? You can imprint on people from just the way you look. And even the way you look right now, which is a body that you may be shameful of, you're still going to imprint on somebody. So you can either choose to imprint on people negatively or positively, because ultimately literally your life and the way you do things and the way you move will show people how this kind of person moves this way. This fat person is into this stuff and doesn't do these things, and this is how they are. And that might be enough for them to be like, I don't want to be like that person. I'm going to be the complete opposite and be a jacked monstrosity. Or they look at the jacked monstrosity and they realize, man, that lifestyle's actually not that hard. That guy's really cool. He's really confident. And those are some personal things that I want. Or like he knows how to talk to like anyone and everybody about anything. I want those interpersonal skills. And then they go through that self-discovery because of the halo effect that's on you, and they push and persevere through whatever obstacles they have while growing up. And to one of the last points, you have to come to the understanding that you are choosing to stay the way you are. You could either be like the dads that come up with the excuses of being a D1 player in college and then this shit happened to your ankle and then you called it quits. You called it quits, right? Instead of taking the extra time to recover your tendons and ligaments and strengthen some more stuff in your calves to make sure that you're good to go and hit the sport again, you called it quits. Now, maybe because you called it quits, your life went down a really sick path that you wouldn't be if that didn't happen. Like what The Rock said, he's like, not playing in the NFL was the best thing that didn't happen for me, because then he became a professional wrestler and then there he is now. So that may be the case for you, and I know that's the case for me for certain things, but I've also did not let the negative occurrence be a defining factor, and then let it be something that enables me mentally, like, oh well, it's okay for me not to do things, or that I failed or whatever, because I wouldn't have met this person, or I wouldn't have had this experience that was really awesome. Okay, cool, but imagine what kind of life you would have had for the things that you could have achieved if you just pushed a little more. You got to look in the mirror and understand the reason you don't look like me is because you choose to. Every morning, the actions you take, from getting up, turning your alarm off, to then setting your alarm or making sure your alarm is on, and then going to bed, everything you do in between that time, it gets you further and further and further away from this, instead of getting you closer and closer and closer. Because it's really a lifestyle. All you have to do is do the right thing. Take proper action. Take care of yourself. A lot of the times, just taking care of yourself, you will be miles ahead of most people around you, because 90% of people around you just don't care about themselves. They hate themselves, and that's become the new normal, and they are okay with choosing to stay weak. They actually gain rapport when they give you the excuses of why they're not jacked, because of that one accolade that they got in high school, because that's when they peaked. When ultimately they got hypnotized into thinking that, oh, you just peak in high school or college, and then you just gotta wear button-ups that look okay on you and get fat and have shitty, weird named IPAs on the weekends. No, you don't have to do that. You can literally be the person you want to be. You just have to stop choosing being the person you never wanted to be, because you've gotten hypnotized into being okay with the glut that you've become, instead of remembering that fire that was in you, that you were chasing to get somewhere you wanted. And okay, you might have missed. Cool. Now you're closer to your target. Now you just attempt it one more time and then you make it. Or you push even further and you go further. But that's all your decision. So you can either be one of the dads that doesn't get the halo effect and their kids don't look up to them. Someone who never gets responsibility or is seen as a dependable individual because of how they look and the lack of discipline they have for their own body. And you're continuing to choose to be shameful. And I know you live a shameful life because you feel it every fucking morning. Low energy, inflation, I mean that too, I guess. Inflammation, your lack of mobility, your joints are making fucking noise, but like not good noise that hurts. Your muscles are tight. Trying to like do certain positions makes your knee hurt, but you don't understand that it's your calf that's tight. And then you got to work on your hip. Like, it's not actually your knee that's fucked up. It's different things that are fucking you up. And then you're just being okay with these cascading symptoms and then numbing it with alcohol or prescription drugs or illegal substances. Like, that shit's sad, dude. You can start choosing yourself in a good way, or you can continue to enable and justify the way that you are. You can either be great or be shameful. That's on you. And if you want to know what that looks like, someone that's taking the steps to be the best person they can be every single day and constantly moving towards leveling up, check my description. It's going to take you to my Instagram. I'm on there daily posting about me being in the gym and me just having fun, and you get to see somebody actually living a confident, fully involved life that you could have. Come get motivated. Start to believe in yourself. And if you don't, I do. Do like I do so you can do the best. Peace.